This is the 72nd Taiku in Talmud Bavli, and the newest feature that I have now is that if I miss something from the PL89 numbers presentation, I would include it. I accidentally shut off the video before I was able to do for number 26 on today's box. 26 is the box of 6th of Elul, and I was just going to say a few things about that in the rule of 40, that every number is connected to 40 that's in the box. So 26 would be the same as saying 66, would be the same as saying 106, etc. If you take, so that's today, so you'd be in this box of 26. You take that line all the way up, several generations of 40 up, and its up line, you'll get 386, which is a very significant number today, being Parsha Shoftim, but there's here the words that equal 386 in regular Hebrew Gematria. Vayas, it says that when in the Torah, in Genesis, and probably in other places, but Genesis, it says Vayas, like Hashem made, God made this, Vayas, it's spelled Vav Yud Ayin Shin, that equals 386. Tzipor, bird, with a Yud, sometimes it's spelled without a Yud, but spelled Aneni Hashem Aneni. David ben Yishai equals Admoni Im Yefei Einayim, which means David ben Yishai first means David the son of Jesse. Admoni Im Yefei Einayim means ruddy and with beautiful eyes, and that's described King David, and it's also 386. Molo HaOmer, the filling of the Omer. Kezera Gad Lavan, it also describes the Omer. It's like a small white coriander seed, I think. Tziruf is a combination, and I think that's all for now. All those things equal 386, which is in the upline of 26, which is today. That's for the Gematria Icon calendar. Now, another thing came up really interestingly, that this calendar, and I'm still in this Taiku, so I don't want to forget about it. So, let's see where we're holding. The calendar, 72 days ago, we were in Parsha Shlach, and this Taiku project started. And now that we're past 12 o'clock, so when I say 72 days ago, it leaves room because there's different ways of counting 72 days ago. You could say 72 days, full days before today, so 72 full days ago, or you could say 71 days ago, and today's the 72nd day, and that's also considered like 72 days ago. So what do you say? It's kind of like the old discussion, or the long famous discussion in the Talmud in regards to many aspects. Ad b'chlal or ad v'lo ad b'chlal. Is the thing you're counting including the counted thing, all those things and the next thing, or is it everything up until that and not the thing itself? So because of that dispute and that discrepancy, that sort of ambivalence or gray area, I include both days, and that's why on the PL89 calendar, see that it says purple and the lavender. These two, they can be tziruf. Tziruf means combine. They can merge the cells into one, so that it satisfies both opinions. And it also leaves a lot of room for margin for error, and it makes it, if you're off by a day, that's okay. It's factored into the whole thing. And it also leaves a lot of room for the concept of kololim in gematria. Kololim is where you, if it's one off, you can add the word itself to give it a point. And so I'm having a newfound appreciation for that. But 72 days ago is when I did the very first Taiku. And what's really fascinating is that Shabbat, that Friday was June 20th. That's when it got published. The first Taiku, right? And that was when we started this tractate of Avodah Zarah. And now we're almost done with it. But that time, I ate at someone's house on Shabbat. And I had not eaten at their house for this whole summer. So imagine, June 20th, the whole summer was the whole rest of June, July, all of August. And finally, we're at the end of August, and I eat at that same person's house. And there's a guest at their house. Check this out. And he said that his bar mitzvah parsha was shlach. That was the parsha that I ate there. And he ate there. But what's interesting is that he said, I won't say he just said that his, I don't want to divulge too much information because it might be, people might get it if they, see it. So, I'll just say, June 20th. I think, because no one knows the family and no one knows. I don't think they would be able to get it. So his birthday is June 20th, okay? And that was the very day that I started the Taikus. I ate at their house. And then 2 months later, this new guy, and his birthday was June 20th, the day that I started this 2 months earlier, who ate at that house. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? I'm serious. How do you explain that? How does that work? Anyway, so 72 days ago is a big thing, and it also, because that's the whole work of the 72 names. That's what the 72 names is all about. That's about splitting the sea. These are the secrets of creation. This is how time and space are working together somehow in God's reality, and we can access that knowledge through the Kabbalah, through gematria, through the esoteric meanings, through the knowledge of the Messiah. Speaking of Messiah, the Taikus are going to be answered when Messiah comes. That's part of the reason why these Taikus are being made. And so that brings us to Ketubot 53. Does that sound familiar? 53? 53? Okay, I'll just keep it at that. Speaking of the Messiah, 53. Ketubot 53. Okay. Ketubot 53. I don't think it could be any more obvious. Ketubot 53, with the words non nukvan dehavyan, and I just started learning about nukva in the Kabbalah a little bit. Nukva, no, it's Tzimtzum. Sorry, scratch that. Okay, non nukvan dehavyan. This is the 72nd Taiku in Talmud Bavli. Na nukvan dehavyan lechi minai Rav Tania tilakachan guvrin v'levi tani ad tigveran l'rav af algav de bagar v'levi af algav de in siv. The Mishnah taught that one of the stipulations of the marriage contract is the clause, any female children you will have from me will be sustained from my property. The Gemara notes that Rav would teach that the daughters are entitled to sustenance until they are taken as wives by men, And Levi would teach that they are entitled to sustenance until they become grown women. The Gemara asks, according to the opinion of Rav, are daughters entitled to sustenance even though they have become grown women if they are still unmarried? Yet how can this be correct? After all, adult daughters are no longer under their father's jurisdiction even in his lifetime. And can Levi possibly maintain that even though they are married, they still receive sustenance from their father's estate until they become grown women? Ella begar velo insiv velo bagal dechulia melo pligi ki pligi barusa velo bagal וכן תני לוי במסדיסה עד תגברן ואם תזמנהון דאין סבן תרתי אלא או תגברן או אם תזמנהון לאיס nasva. Rather, in a case where they became grown women and were not married, or were married and had not become grown women, everyone agrees that they are not entitled to sustenance. When they disagree is with regard to a daughter who was betrothed and had not become a grown woman. Levi maintains that as she is still unmarried, she remains under her father's jurisdiction. And Levi likewise taught the following version of this stipulation in his Braita. Until they become grown women and the time arrives for their marriage, the Gemara asks, are these two conditions both necessary? She leaves her father's domain when one of these conditions is fulfilled. Rather, Levi means that they can continue to receive sustenance either until they become grown women or their time arrives for marriage. Ketanai. Ad masay abbas nizoinis ad shiteores mishum Rabbi Elazar amru ad shitigvar Tan Rabbi Yosef ad Ayin iboilu Havya de Erusin or Havya de Nisuin Taiku. The Gemara observes the dispute between Rav and Levi is like a dispute between Tanaim, as we have learned. Until when is a daughter sustained from her father's property? Until she is betrothed. In the time of Rabbi Elazar, they said, until she becomes a grown woman. Rav Yosef taught the version until they become married. The meaning of the expression until they become married is unclear, and therefore a dilemma was raised before the scholars. Does this refer to becoming betrothed or becoming married? No answer was found. Oh, okay. It says they didn't use... so Yosef said, until ad dehevian. Dehevian, I think it means until they become together. And that can mean two things. That could either mean erusin, which is the first stage of marriage. That's when they're together at some level. Or nisuin, which is the final stage of marriage. And they're also getting together at a more complete level. So, what is the meaning? It's unclear. And this is the 72nd Taiku in the Talmud Bavli. We must wait for the Messiah, Elijah the prophet, and the Geula Shlema to receive the answer to this question.